Okay guys, so if you are in the market for a budget metal guitar, I think the Jackson JS32 series should be right up at the top of your list. Now I've talked about these guitars before, and I did a video review quite a few years ago actually on the violin or viola burst Kelly, the Jackson Kelly that was also from the JS32 series. And now I have one of the Jackson Rhoads models, also from the JS32 series. Now I got this guitar used, and so I got a screaming deal on it, but honestly, finding really good deals on these guitars on the used market is pretty common. Now, aside from the great deal that I got on this guitar, for me, the other really cool thing about this is that this is actually my first Rhoads V that I've ever had, which is crazy when you think about it, because I mean, I'm a huge Randy Rhoads fan. I'm just, you know, kind of a classic 80s metal shredder kind of guitar player anyway, and I really should have already had one of these guitars. So this is the first one I've had. I wanted to try out one of their budget ones first before I spend money on a more expensive one. So yeah, this is going to be a fun video. Let's go ahead and check this out. Okay, so officially this is the JS32 series Jackson Rhoads V, the Floyd version, and brand new these guitars go for about $350. Most of the JS32 stuff is right in the $300 to $350 range. Now this guitar, I bought it used off of the Guitar Center used inventory, and I got this guitar for only $220, and that's a really good deal, but it's very common, you know, because these guitars are only like $300, $350 when they're brand new. It's very common to get deals like that on the JS32 series Jackson. So, you know, well under $300, like $250, even down to $200 for a guitar like this. And this guitar is in great shape, and that's despite some kind of weird things about the way it was shipped. For starters, when I got the box, I mean, it looked like the box had fallen off of a truck or something like that. But the other thing is when they put this guitar in the box, they put it in the box with the arm still attached to the bridge, and then they just wrapped a bunch of bubble wrap around it. So it was pushing down on the bar like the entire time it was shipped, which is, you know, not very good for the springs and the bridge and everything. But when I unpacked it, I took it all apart and put some new strings on it, and it seems to be fine. Now there's a tiny little ding down here, just a tiny little chip on this lower horn. That happens obviously on these like more extreme shapes like the Warrior, the Kelly, and the Rhoads, or even the King V. I mean, it's super common to get these horns all dinged up and everything. But fortunately, this one's in pretty good shape. You have to really look closely to see that ding on there. So yeah, $220 plus it was like, you know, $28 for shipping or something like that. Really good deal. I'm really happy with this. Now, I'll get into the full specs of this guitar in just a second, but for me, the thing that makes these guitars so good is the neck and frets on this series of Jacksons. Now, the older low-end Jacksons, like there was like a JS10 and a JS20 series, that's going back about 15 years ago now. Those ones were not as good. But when they got to the JS32 and 34 series, which is where they're at now, they've really nailed how to make these affordable but really, really nice necks. They've got big jumbo frets on here. They always have this white binding and everything on the sides. And they've just really nailed down how to make these necks affordable but also feel really good and very, very easy to play. Now, they have a satin finish on the back of the neck. The fretwork is always nice. Again, big frets on here. You've got the classic Jackson inlays, 24 frets on these necks. And from what I can tell, they use pretty much the same neck specs on all of the, you know, sort of entry-level JS32 series guitars. So I've played like the Kelly, the Rhoads now, and a couple of the Dinkies, and they all have this really, really comfortable neck. Now the neck itself is of course maple. It's a rosewood fretboard, again 22 frets on here. The body is poplar on these, and they come in a few different finishes. They're all pretty standard. There's like a satin black. This is just a nice sort of ivory gloss white. They've got a few with painted bevels on them, like the body will be black and then the bevels are white, and vice versa. Along with the neck, the guitars also all share the same pickups, so these Jackson branded humbuckers, and this one has the Jackson by Floyd Rose, so it's essentially a licensed Floyd Rose bridge on here, and then you've got the locking nut up there and Jackson tuners up here. Now this guitar is totally stock with the exception of the strap buttons, which I've replaced because whoever had it before me also replaced the strap buttons, and they were some kind of weird brand, you know, like you have to have the matching set strap that goes with it, and I didn't have that. So I put on a set of my the Perfect Lock Bolt strap buttons, which just are really, really solid. So yeah, other than that, everything else is stock. It's the original pickups and bridge and so forth. Okay, now there's some other things I want to talk to you guys about with the guitar, how it balances and so forth. I've got a strap here, and I can show you how it balances. But let's go ahead and just listen to how the guitar sounds, and we'll check out how it plays and everything. Now I'm going to use my Fender GTX 100 amplifier. I love using that amp for demos. I'm going to plug into that. We'll go through a few different presets in there. And of course, real quick guys, if you like videos like this and you enjoy checking out cool, affordable guitars and you have not already subscribed, please consider subscribing right now. Okay guys, the JS32 Rhoads, let's plug it in and see how it sounds. Okay guys, so there's a few more things I want to talk about with this guitar here. One thing that's really cool, that's kind of easy to miss, is the output jack right there. It's on the upper horn, so if you're sitting down and you're holding the guitar like that, the jack is not going to be anywhere in your way for, you know, hitting your legs or anything like that, because it goes in up there over your legs. It also, because of the sort of downwards angle it goes in at, that helps to keep the cable from being pulled out, you know, if you step on it or something like that. Now, sort of like what I was talking about at the beginning of the video, in my opinion, the thing that you're really getting with these guitars is a great neck. So it's a great neck attached to a really like awesome classic Jackson heavy metal body. And honestly, that right there is a great combination. Now, I think the weak points of this guitar is going to be the bridge and to some extent the pickups. Although the pickups don't sound bad, they just don't have much of a unique character to them. They're nicely balanced and, you know, they have some nice harmonics and responsiveness and that kind of thing. But it doesn't really have any sort of flavor to it that you would associate with a metal guitar, if you know what I mean. In a way, these pickups are like too well balanced for any kind of guitar that you would use to play heavy metal. Usually you want a pickup that's going to focus in on a mid-range, especially the upper mid-range, to give you a lot of cut and a lot of bite to your tone. And again, these pickups, they don't sound bad, but they just don't really have that punch to them. Now, the other thing is the bridge here, and to be honest, the bridge itself is not that bad. What is pretty bad is the nut up here. Now, this is a problem that shows up a lot on less expensive Floyd Rose nuts up here, and basically the locking nuts are a little small. Okay, the nuts are a little too small. You know, I hate to tell you that, but the nuts are a little too small, and so when you tighten them down, they twist a little bit. And what that does is once you get all the strings in tune and you're ready to lock it down, you lock it down, it twists the string a little bit, and then pulls the strings out of tune. One thing about the bridge, though, that I'm pleasantly surprised at is the tremolo arm, the bar itself. It fits in there very, very tight. And a lot of less expensive Floyd Rose style bridges will have a kind of a clanky, clatteriness. Clatteriness, is that a word? Basically, the bar won't fit into the bridge very well, and the bar will always be a little bit loose in the bridge. But this bridge does not have that problem, which is a pleasant surprise. Okay, guys, now let's put a strap on this thing and see how it balances. That's something I've been wanting to do lately. Is anytime I check out a guitar that's got like a heavy metal shape to it, it's not a Strat body or something like that, I want to see how it balances. Because if you guys recall, I checked out a Kramer Voyager a while back, and it had really bad neck dive. So we got the strap here. I'll stand up. Let's see how this thing balances here. If I let go of the guitar, okay, it comes down a little bit. It's actually not as bad as I was expecting. The balance is pretty close, and when you have your arm just kind of resting on the top of the guitar, you're gonna be picking like that. That actually is enough weight right there to correct the balance. And if you let up on it, the neck comes down a little bit, but it's not like totally diving, which is, you know, like I said, a problem I had on this Kramer Voyager that I reviewed recently. So I'll give it like a 7 out of 10 on the balance. It doesn't balance perfectly. I mean, it's not the best balancing guitar I've ever had, but it doesn't balance so badly that it's going to get in the way of your playing. And like I said, when you have your arm resting on that upper horn there, it fixes the balance issue. And of course, when you're sitting down, you can just hold it like that. And that right there, I mean, that's like a perfect shredding position right there. As Michael Badio says, sometimes you have to assume the shred position. Okay, so the balance is pretty good. The guitar looks awesome, so heavy metal, and it plays really good too. Now, I really like this guitar. I'm glad I got it, and of course I got a really good deal on it, which is always awesome. I think what I'm going to do with this guitar is throw some parts at it. I think I'm going to mod this and upgrade it a little bit. I think I'm going to put some new pickups in it, maybe even a new bridge, for sure a new nut, but maybe even a whole new bridge. And we'll go from there. The neck, though, I'm not going to change anything on this neck. This is an awesome shredder neck. Okay, guys, so that is the Jackson JS32 series Rhoads. Honestly, I expected this to be good, and it is. Now, I will put links for this guitar and also some of the other JS32 series Jacksons down in the video description below. I will also have a link down there for the amplifier and also my new merch, my new t-shirts, and my instructional materials and all that stuff. I will also put a link down there for the backing track that I was using in the demo. That's from the Backing Tracks by Tim channel. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon.